The radio crackled sharply at 4:37 a.m., jolting Daniel Mutai from restless sleep. After 23 years as head ranger at Kenya's Alpeta Conservancy, Daniel was trained to wake instantly at such calls. "Daniel, it's Camo. You need to come quickly. Zuri is in labor, but something's wrong." Daniel was already pulling on his boots before Camo finished. Zuri, a 7-year-old lioness, was part of the Conservancy's fragile pride, once nearly wiped out by poachers. Every birth mattered for their survival. "Location?" Daniel asked urgently. "Tursley, near Acacia Grove. Dr. Nayana is on her way, but you're closer." Daniel's Land Rover roared through the pre-dawn darkness as he raced toward the grove. Dystocia, difficult birth, was common in big cats, especially those like Zuri, who had suffered early nutritional stress. Daniel knew time was critical. He arrived to find Camo waiting anxiously by the tall grass. "She's been in labor at least 3 hours. One cub is partially out but stuck. Zuri's exhausted." Daniel scanned for Jabari, the pride's dominant male. He's about 200 meters away, watching but not approaching. Unusual, but good. Zuri's breathing was shallow. The stuck cub was unmoving. Dr. Nayana should arrive in 20 minutes, but Daniel knew that might be too late. Drawing on 2 decades of experience in emergency vet training, Daniel made a bold decision. "I'm going to approach her," he said quietly. Camo's eyes widened in alarm. "Daniel, that's too dangerous." "We have a relationship," Daniel said firmly. Over years, Zuri had grown accustomed to him during routine checks. "If we wait, we lose the cub, and maybe Zuri too." Camo reluctantly agreed. Positioning the vehicle 30 meters south with lights on but engine off, Daniel prepared to approach downwind. He removed his khaki shirt, taking only essential tools: obstetrical forceps, a suction bulb, antiseptic. "If something happens to me," he said to Camo, "tell my daughters I did what I thought was right." Moving slowly and calmly, Daniel called Zuri softly as he approached. She lifted her head weakly, eyes locking onto his. In that gaze, Daniel felt something beyond explanation: recognition, trust, a fragile connection between man and wild. Zuri growled low, warning him, but then lowered her head again. "This is your chance," Daniel whispered, crouching closer. The cub was wedged awkwardly, its shoulder stuck against Zuri's pelvic bone. Daniel's hands moved with careful precision, applying antiseptic, then gently maneuvering the forceps to ease the cub free. A strong contraction rippled through Zuri's body as the cub slid forward. "Push now, Zuri," Daniel encouraged softly. At dawn's first light, the cub emerged. A large male, bigger than any newborn lion Daniel had seen. He cleared its airways, rubbing it gently to stimulate breathing. 3 tense seconds passed. The cub shuddered, then let out a faint, life-affirming cry. Relief washed over Daniel, but Zuri's breathing worsened. There were more cubs inside. Daniel's watch showed Dr. Nayana should have arrived, but then his radio crackled. "Daniel, doctor." "Nayana's vehicle broke down 5 kilometers from the gate. It'll be at least 40 minutes before she gets here." Time was running out. Daniel carefully placed the newborn near Zuri's paws, close enough for her to smell but safe from accidental harm. Examining Zuri, Daniel found a second cub positioned sideways. Normal delivery impossible. Both mother and cub would die without immediate intervention. An emergency cesarean in the wild, without proper surgical backup, was almost unthinkable. Yet doing nothing was certain death. "Camo, bring me the emergency surgical kit and portable oxygen," Daniel ordered. He pulled a vial of local anesthetic, enough only to dull pain, knowing full anesthesia was impossible. "I'm doing the C-section," he told Camo, who stared in disbelief. "No time to argue. Help me or go back to the vehicle." Zuri growled weakly, but did not attack. With surgical precision, Daniel made the incision. Camo handed him tools, silently watching Zuri's face for signs she'd lost tolerance. Carefully, Daniel extracted the second cub, another large male. A third cub remained, positioned for natural birth, but blocked by exhaustion. Using the surgical opening, Daniel helped deliver the third, a feisty female. 3 healthy cubs against all odds. The hardest part came next: suturing a conscious wild predator. Daniel worked swiftly, knowing any wrong move could be fatal. With the last stitch in place, Zuri's breathing steadied. The cubs, wrapped in clean cloth, mewed softly near Camo. "She needs antibiotics and fluids," Daniel said. "The cubs must nurse soon." Suddenly, the sound of a vehicle broke the morning silence. Dr. Nayana had arrived. Zuri's eyes opened fully, and she fixed her gaze not on the vet, but on Daniel. For a long moment, man and Lioness regarded each other. Then gently, Zuri extended her massive paw, resting it lightly on Daniel's leg, a silent gesture of trust. As she turned to tend her cubs, Daniel felt a profound shift had occurred, something beyond science or explanation. The next hours were a blur of medical care and monitoring. By afternoon, the new family was safe, with the pride's male Jabari keeping his distance, but not threatening. Days later, Daniel faced the Conservancy Board. His risky intervention had broken protocol, but saved lives. The board recognized the unprecedented success and appointed Daniel to lead a new research initiative on human-wildlife cooperation during emergencies. 6 weeks later, Daniel watched from the observation post as Zuri and her cubs thrived. Jabari's eventual acceptance of the cubs defied typical lion behavior. Then, in a moment that captured the hearts of researchers worldwide, Zuri approached Daniel's hide, sitting calmly nearby, almost as if introducing her family. Daniel lowered his binoculars, trembling. What had happened transcended wildlife management. It was a new chapter in the ancient relationship between humans and the wild, a story of trust, respect, and hope.